face. Who are these guys talking about face? Come on. Some of these people openly um, take ejaculate to the face at parties in front of people. Some of these people openly brag about being Joseph Mengele. Openly brag about being Joseph Mengele. Like they're proud of it. They're like, eh. Some of these people openly discuss how they participate in know your place bets and promote social inequality and injustice. They actually brag about promoting inequality and oppression of women, oppression of minorities, oppression of poor people, bragging about how they say we're rich or poor, poor people are play toys. They openly promote new age mind slavery, and they're talking about face. And they're openly promoting pure ignorance, such as financing sexual violence, and actually openly promote the financing of sexual violence, such as ritualistic community sexual assault. They openly promote human rights and civil rights violations, and these guys are talking about face. They openly promote and brag about how they use weapons, satellite weapons and neurophysiological weapons, on disabled autistic people who are defenseless for know your place bets. And they're talking about face. They actually brag and openly discuss about how they commit psychological torture for entertainment and say it's a rich thing. Who are these people talking about face? These famous people or rich people or middle class people? Who are these people? And talking about face and these people who participate in ritualistic community sexual violence and then try to murder the people they sexually violate or make the people look psychotic who they sexually violate. What the hell do these guys know about face? Some of these guys are endangering humanity and talking about face. Some of these guys are hiring crackheads and heroin addicts to be investigators and letting rapists and crack addicts and drug addicts be investigators and actually go and investigate U.S. citizens and be around women and this and that. And they're talking about face. Who are these people? They're actually hiring grade A criminals, rapists, terrorists, crack addicts, and heroin addicts to do investigations and letting them interact with women in a position of authority. And they're talking about face. Are they crazy? I'm pretty sure when you do things like that, you lose face permanently. So what do these guys know about face? So don't fall for their nonsense. I'm fed up with this face nonsense. They're driving me crazy. No, they don't have the right to steal from me and make up some story about face or steal anything that's mine and make up some story about face. I mean, these people are crazy. It's my life, my money, my property. I mean, some of these kids are drug addicts and heroin addicts for crying out loud. Big time. But yeah, no one has the right to anything that's mine, and no one has the right to peddle slander with malice or manufacture evidence to support their fallacious claims. And if there is a decent human involved with this, why doesn't someone show me where this guy's peddling his slander and nonsense, so I can just sue these people for every cent they got by now? Because it's getting a little more than frustrating. These little cowards of men, these weak men and women who debate in the dark with manufactured nonsense, and they know I'm not present to say, "Hey, you're full of shit." Now I'm going to sue you. So where are these cowards peddling their nonsense? These cowards of men and these weak women who peddle their pretended places so they can make up false justifications for being Satan and false justifications for being just criminals and thieves and trying to justify theft and this and that. It's pathetic now and it's creepy. And someone should just show me where they're doing this so I can sue them for everything because I've heard so much slander now. It's scary. I mean, someone was telling people I was a Muslim terrorist at one point. Someone was telling people I was a hacker, a psychotic hacker. Smart enough to outsmart the U.S. government with a biology degree, who was a biology major and a medical student. And that makes a whole lot of no sense. A mind melder, even though I'm the one who's been calling these mind melders the scumfucks since day one and exposing this tool, this implantation and telepathy, their tool of trade, their tool of choice, this tool they try to keep so secret, they potentially would kill someone if people figured out it was real. So if I'm a mind melder, why do I spend so much time talking about this tool and exposing this tool that they use for covert assault, covert abuse, covert sexual violence, economic espionage, stealing passwords, financial crimes, banking crimes, etc. If I was a mind melder, like that's another way I was never a mind melder. The mind melders don't talk about implantation. They don't talk about telepathy. As this tool is their tool of their trade. It's their sacred tool. It's something they would never expose or talk about because that's what they thrive on. That's what they rely on. That's like even a part of them, and that's what they use to feel important, these mind melder people. Uh, so they try to keep that technology. They try to keep it secret at all cost because it's their tool they use for covert violence and covert sexual abuse and covert crimes, espionage, economic espionage, and more. I mean, these people can't live life without abusing human life covertly. That's what they thrive off of. I mean, they get pleasure from sexual violence. I can assure you this, and they get pleasure from abusing human life. They need that in their life in order to feel good about themselves. They're sick in the mind. You're not getting it, and they love to keep their tools for covert abuse and covert harm secret, so they would never expose it. So that's how you know I'm not one of these people because I've been exposing it for a while, since like 2018, ever since I figured out it was real, this implantation and telepathy jazz. So these mind melder people always lie about that tech because that's what they rely on. But they also, some of them are fame whores, so they may expose it for fame. Key point. Is what I noticed as well, because some of these kids thought when I started exposing stuff, it brought me fame or something. So they all started pretending to be me. One, they started pretending to be me for fame, but they started pretending to do what I do and say what I do. My theory is to get off the hook, go undercover, go under the radar. Because I was talking about this implantation and telepathy jazz since ever since I figured it out. At first, I was telling my parents, I thought I was hearing my neighbors when I was typing my med school notes. And I was like, Mom, this guy's always rolling up to his computer at the same time as me while I'm working on my notes. And I keep hearing it. I kept hearing voices. So I thought it was my neighbors. Then I thought one time it was frequency interference. But then one time I was talking with these telepathy people and had my phone on the floor and I thought I could hear it on like a back end of a backwards tap or something. I thought it was some weird backwards tap. I didn't know what to make of it. So I thought it was coming from my phone, but then I picked up my phone and the phone was out of battery. So I was like, well, I guess it's not my phone. Then I started reading. I was reading about these TI guys, the targeted individuals, and reading stuff and came across synthetic telepathy and other jazz. Then I started reading more about synthetic telepathy and found these Wired articles, Wired magazine, and I was reading about the voice of God, sonic projection, hypersonic, and all these tools, the microwave auditory effect, they call it. So then I thought it was that for a while. But then I noticed I could go like this. Then I noticed I could go like this. Hey, I'm Alexander Sharyajani. But I just did that with thought, not out loud. And I can hear when I do that, I can hear it on some receiving end coming out of some speaker. It sounds like a little girl's voice. So the device is rigged in a certain way where I can hear certain things. So I can hear where my telepathy goes. It comes out of a speaker somewhere as a voice, but a little girl's voice, not my voice. So I noticed I could do that. And I can actually carry conversations like that with these people via telepathy. I said, hey, I'm Johnny. What's going on? Winky, winky, smiley, smiley. So I just did that with the mind. So that's telepathy. Like a DARPA modem for the mind, like fashion, turning thoughts into typed text or even turning thoughts into typed stuff. I even found that DARPA modem for the mind article. So then I realized it wasn't microwave auditory effect. It was something within. It was an implant because I also found this globalresearch.org article that was talking about these neural implants and other stuff. And then I started theorizing a model because I heard something via telepathy, something about something solidifying. And I started pondering what it was. And then I thought some beam. And I was talking to these telepathy people and telling them what I was theorizing it could be. And then someone said, you mean like implantation via telepathy? So that's what I started calling it. But it's a beam. And the way I know it's real is because sometimes at night, a long time ago, I used to feel people trying to pull on this device in my brain and actually feel something pulling. And they're actually pulling. I could actually feel a sensation of someone trying to pull something. I haven't felt it in a while, but it's still present. But they'd actually try to pull it and they couldn't pull it out. And they'd say it was tethered. They talk about some passcode, but they kept talking about how some kid tried to tether it down. And these people would actually try to pull it and actually feel tissue pulling and it wouldn't come out. So it was always there. So sometimes I feel these people even putting stuff in me at night and it feels like pressure or they'll fire stuff at my brain. And that's why you'll see me sometimes get out of bed if there's really surveillance on me. You'll see me leave a room and go sleep in a different room to get away from these guys trying to put devices in my brain or body or even doing neurosurgeries on me for witness tampering. But yeah, so those are some key points. Either way, yeah, they started mind melding me. They're probably using their devices for witness tampering. But either way, yeah, this telepathy jazz is real. And that's how I started figuring out it was real. But these guys, they just need to go to prison. They started using wiping there. So they also have other tools they call wiping. And like I'll be talking about something, be on a track, and they'll actually use tech on my brain to quote wipe me. is what they call it. And they'll actually use implantable devices to disrupt memory while I'm in the middle of communication. I guess to lose track of financial opponents amongst other opponents. So they start wiping me while I was discussing this. So they're probably trying to take me off track right now because I had a goal that I was trying to take care of, and then as I was explaining things, I lost sight. But I don't know where I was, but that's a piece of this. But I've been talking about this technology for a while. I can assure you it's real. And yeah, either way, these guys need to go to prison. They're committing terrorist acts. They're performing repeated accounts of witness tampering, and they're involved with organized crime. They're using this technology for all sorts of things. But now, yeah, they wiped me and did something shady. They're using tech on my brain to disrupt memory and cognition. So that's evidence of witness tampering. But if I remember, I'll make another video because I just took me off track. And see, this was instantaneous. It wasn't like this is like a progressive thing that occurs often. It just happened at this moment because I had a goal, or I had a main point that I was going towards, and then they totally just started using tech on my brain to disrupt it. Bet my life on it.